Fatefield is a new tabletop card game unlike any other. Fatefield is an arena type of game where players land on a battlefield to take on each other until only the last player or team stands to win the game. The game mechanics are designed to be playable by both casual players and hardcore tournament gods. Hey everyone, my name is May, and I'm here to teach you how to survive in Fatefield. Note that there are plenty of game modes in this game, but for now, I will only be explaining the free-for-all mode in which all players are enemies to each other. Let's go ahead and check what's in the box. First, these are called field cards. A battlefield of different game modes can be created by combining these square cards. I'll tell you how to set up a standard 4-player battlefield using these field cards later. Next are these player cards. These are used to indicate the order of turns of the players, which player they are, and their position in the battlefield. The HP or health points card. These are 2-layer cards that players can dial to help them track how much HP they have. If your HP is 0, means you're dead. Guns and items. There are 10 different types of guns and 6 different types of items. With their duplicates, there are a total of 44 of these, and I'll tell you how to use them later. Next are these dices. These are used for players to move around the battlefield. Then, it is also used to unlock some abilities and other mechanics. Lastly, we have here is an 8-card characters pack. These characters are the main attraction of this game. You open this pack, you'll get 8 random character cards and a probability to get a rare collector cards. And now, it is time for us to set up a standard 4-player battlefield for a casual game of Fatefield. Starter guns and items of the players. Take all of the guns, then shuffle it. Distribute 4 sets of 1 random gun facing down on the platform. Do the same for the item cards. Shuffle them, then distribute 4 sets of 3 random items as seen here. Note that you can distribute the sets of 1 gun plus 3 items for each player in other ways you like, as long as these cards are shuffled well and are fairly randomized. Also, in the quickest method, you can shuffle the guns and items together. Then, each of the players can just take their own 1 random gun and 3 random items. Note that in this game, players are supposed to not let their enemies know what the guns or items they have. Using the field cards to create the battlefield. Take all 20 field cards, shuffle it, then create a wide square-shaped battlefield out of it. As you can see here, the field cards have corresponding numbers. But in this casual standard game mode of Fatefield, the field numbers do not matter. After the field cards are in place, you can now distribute the rest of the guns and items to place it close down on top of each of the field cards. Shuffle all the guns and items together and begin to fill up the battlefield with it closed down. You can start on one of the corners of the battlefield and go clockwise from there. Note that corner field cards should have 2 of these cards and the rest has only 1. After filling up all the fields with random guns and items, put the rest in the center of the battlefield. These are called the unused or disposed guns and items. Player turns and who goes first. There are many ways to decide which player goes first. One method is for each player to roll 2 dices, and the players with the higher numbers will be the first ones to have the turn. then the next, and the next, and the next. You know the drill. The other method is to have the 1 to 4 player cards closed down. The player who gets the number 1 is the first player to have the turn. In any case, the first player to have the turn in the game should have the player 1 card. Then, the second player holds the player 2 card, and etc. Everything is so easy to understand. HP cards set to 15. Distribute to each player an HP card and set it at 15. All players will play at 15 maximum and starting HP. Note that for a quicker game, players can decide to set the maximum HP to be lower. Let's say 12 or 10. Lower than 10 is not recommended. Pre-game checklist. By now, each of the 4 players should have the following: 1 random gun and 3 random items, 1 player card indicating their order of turn in the game, and 1 HP card set to 15. Is everyone good? Then it is now time to play the game. At the very start of the game, all players will choose a starting field position to land. In most cases, players would want to land on each of the corner fields because there are 2 gun or item cards in there. Let's go ahead and choose a drop point for player 1. Let's say over here. Followed by player 2. Oops, I have to mention, players cannot land on a field already occupied by enemy players and within 2 field range of that. As you can see here, player 2 can drop anywhere except on these 5 locations. Let's keep this player safe and choose this corner field to land. Then maybe player 3 lands over here, and player 4, being a little bit aggressive, lands nearby player 1. After all players have landed already, it is now player 1's turn. At the start of the player's turn, that is the only time that the player can pick one of the gun or item cards in the field they are on. By the way, each player can only carry a maximum of only 2 guns and 5 items. Suppose the player takes an item card, and now the player has a total of 6 item cards. That player needs to choose 1 item card to dispose. On a player's turn, the player has 1 act and 1 move only. They can move first, then act, or act first, then move. To move around the fields, the player has to roll a dice. A dice result of 1 or 2 allows a player to only move to 1 field range, or 1 step of a field. Dice roll of 3 and 4 allows a player to move up to 2 field range. Then 5 and 6 is 3 field range, or 3 steps of field. In most cases, players would always wish to get a move dice roll of 5 or a 6 so they can have a wider options to fulfill their strategy. To act, you can use 1 of your gun or item. Let's check player 1's guns first. Player 1 has a sniper rifle and a shotgun. As you can see here, the shotgun indicates a 3 and XXX. This is the damage and range of this particular gun. This means that when you use this gun, you can attack a target that is standing in the same field as you, and your damage towards the target is 3. and cannot attack a player in 1 field range, 2 field range, and 3 field range distance using this gun. On the other hand, this sniper rifle here has no damage in close range XXX, but has 3 damage on a 3 field range distance. In this case, player 1 can actually use this sniper rifle as act to attack player 4. To use a gun card as act, you have to drop the card for everyone to see and tell everyone that you're using this gun card to attack your selected player. Additionally, all gun cards has a dice roll effect. As you can see here, it says that when you roll a dice and it lands on a 6, you deal an additional of 4 damage, and that gives you a total of 7 damage. Let's go ahead and roll a dice. Rolling for a 6 is only a 15% chance. What are the odds? Here goes nothing. Oh, it landed on a 5. No matter, player 1 deals 3 damage on player 4. When a player has been attacked or used a skill on, by default, that player can react. React is a short turn of an attacked player. They can use 1 move or 1 act when they react. Let's see what player 4 has. Player 4 has a large medkit and a small one. Player 4 can use the small medkit item as react. To use this, the player must drop the item card for everyone to see. Take the effect, which is to increase the player's own HP by 2, and then dispose the item used. By default, all item cards are single use only, and gun cards can be used endlessly. After player 4 has reacted, player 1 can proceed to finish the turn. Player 1 has only used act, but have not used move yet. Let's go ahead and use the dice to move. To move, the player needs to tell everyone that you're going to move and then roll a dice. It is a 4. That means that player 1's move range is up to 2 field in range in either direction. Let's move here so we can take this item on our next turn. Just a reminder, you have to tell everyone first if you're going to use move or a gun or item before rolling a dice. Player 1's turn has ended. It is now time for player 2 to take the card in his or her field and proceed to do 1 move and 1 act. Player 2 takes the move, and the move dice roll is only a 1. And so, player 2 can only move 1 step of a field. Since there's no one to attack using a gun, and no point using an item, player 2 will void his turn's act. So now, it is player 3's turn. Player 3 is done, and now it is player 4's turn. Player 4 takes the card, a move dice roll of a 6. Player 4 chases player 1 and drops a gun to attack player 1. Oh, what does this card do? It says here, if the gun dice roll is a 5 or a 6, player 4 will deal 1 more extra damage and can destroy the target player's item. Let's see if player 4 can pull this off. Player 4 now rolls a dice. Oh no, it landed on a 5. Player 1 takes a total of 3 damage. and player 4 will pick one item from player 1 and dispose it. Oh, player 1 has an armor item card. We can use this to reduce the damage. Note that this item is not used as our react to player 4's attack. As it says here, using the armor item to reduce a damage is not a react. Player 1 now will need to dispose this armor. Then, player 4 will now proceed to take one random item to dispose it. Player 1 will now react. The shotgun is out of range, and so is the sniper rifle. So maybe we'll just try to move player 1 close to player 4. Because it will be player 1's turn next, and we can use the shotgun to blow the hell out of player 4. Let's do the move dice roll. It is 3. Let's go ahead and move to where player 4 is. Now that all of the players have done their turn, the first round of the game is now over. In Fatefield, the battlefield gets smaller and smaller every round, similar to the mechanics of most of the Battle Royale type of video games. In this case, all of the leftmost fields of each side of the battlefield, which is not the corner fields, will be removed. All guns and items in the removed fields will be disposed. The player caught in these fields will also take 1 damage and will automatically be pushed to the nearest corner field. A few moments later, another round just ended, and we are now on the final field. The final field is the smallest battlefield. From this point on, every after round, the battlefield doesn't get smaller. But all players will take 1 unavoidable damage after each round. Player 1 and 4 are now dead. We're left with player 2 and player 3. Player 2 has 6 HP, player 3 has 4 HP. Player 2 proceeds to move and throws a shotgun on player 3. Player 2 rolls a dice. It lands on a 5. Player 3 is dead. Oh wait, player 3 uses an armor and still has 1 HP left. He reacts with a handgun. It lands on a 6. A headshot with a total damage of 5. Player 2's turn has now ended, and it is now player 3's turn. Player 2 can do nothing and concedes, and player 3 wins the game. Phew! I thought I'm only supposed to teach you how to play the game. I honestly can't predict that the game would end this way. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed Fatefield. On our next videos, we'll show you how to use the character cards, and also how the mechanics are for the 2 vs 2 tournament mode is played. If you have questions regarding the gameplay or anything related to Fatefield, just type it in the comments. Once again, I am May. I'm a war medic at your service. See you in Fatefield!